Hey everybody, I'm heading over to Bandon. I thought I'd do a quick live. I'm going to take the back way over to Bandon, so I don't know if I'm going to have cell phone service the whole time. So just to let people know, we're going to be in the Bandon Napa parking lot from 11 to 2 today, and we will have all three petitions. So there's going to be several of us there. And so come sign on your lunch break whenever you can for our Bandon people. Let people know. And they've been at the Bandon Napa a couple of times, I think. And so that's a pretty good spot. Swing by and see us. I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about why the petition is important and why I'm personally involved, because this is a petition to recall a Democratic governor. It is generally being led by Republicans. Not all, definitely not all, but a lot of Republicans are pushing for this. Not in Coos County. In Coos County, the Republican Party is not involved at all. It's weird to me that me as an independent is doing more work on this than our local Republican Party. And so people might wonder, like, why does it matter? Why should we care if we have a healthy Republican Party in Coos County? Or the state, for that matter. If I'm not a Republican, why the heck should I care? Well, I have a very good real-world example of why we should all care about a healthy power balance, not just here in Coos County, political power balance, but in the state. Do you guys remember back in, 2001, they passed HB 3115? That forced cities to allow basically like public camping anywhere. That legislation was very, very aggressively backed by League of Oregon Cities. They championed that bill. They really put a lot of work into getting it passed, and they patted themselves on the back for doing such a good job to combat homelessness, because that's what homeless people need, right? They just need a house to live in. They thought they were doing a really great thing. Well, now we're looking back. Grants Pass challenged the law. It went all the way up to the Supreme Court, and guess what happened? The Supreme Court struck it down. Yeah, it was found unconstitutional. So camping restrictions were allowed to be put back into place. In the meantime, this camping ordinance that allowed homeless people to set up camps on residential streets ravaged our communities. We had drug-infested prostitution camps, like open air drug use, crazy rampant crime. They were hubs for theft. People absolutely like just ripping off neighborhoods, whole neighborhoods just getting pillaged, and then bringing all the stolen goods back to their encampments. And we put air tags and stuff on this stuff, and this has happened all over the country. They put air tags and stuff, and they find them popping up at these homeless camps, right? So, to the point, League of Oregon Cities backed this legislation. Rah, rah, rah. Our legislators pushed it through. We're doing such a great thing. All Democrats, right? All leftists, all very like, we need to take care of people. It's our job to know what's best for everyone. They pushed it through. It caused an unmitigated disaster. Nothing about it was good, and now it's Supreme Court ruled it's actually unconstitutional, as it turns out. And now the League of Oregon Cities has backpedaled. Now they think there needs to be restrictions. You think? And I mean, forgive my like tongue-in-cheek, sarcasm here, but like, do we think? Yeah, maybe it was a bad idea to begin with. This is what happens when you don't have a power balance. You get people who develop groupthink. They think they have all the right ideas. No one is challenging them. No one is pushing back. No one is playing devil's advocate. We've got it in our legislature. We've got it in our nonprofits. Terrible, terrible groupthink. And it is producing terrible legislation. legislation that's unconstitutional. And that's something that I take a big issue with. I believe that legislators who pass laws that are found unconstitutional should be removed from office. To me, that's a complete, professional negligence. It's just such an egregious offense against the American people. Anyway, so I'm a big constitutional supporter, right? I take that stuff very seriously. So we had a piece of unconstitutional legislation get pushed through because no one was challenging it. And if you go to these meetings and you sit with these people, you will recognize very quickly that they do not like being challenged. They do not like being questioned. They just want to ram stuff through that fits their perspective, and they don't want any trouble about it. Well, this is what happens. We end up with an unconstitutional mess on our hands. This is why building a Republican Party back up is important. This is why having a power balance is important. This is why, for all of you who have been involved in this group think and never stepped outside yourselves to question whether or not you were right and whether or not you should, this is a call out to you to question yourself, to bring people into your social circle and into your professional circle who question you, and invite that pushback. And stop pandering to leaders who are not qualified to do their job. Like, we need people who are self-aware and self-questioning and disagree with each other openly, who have the emotional maturity to accept that pushback. And that's why we should all care about a power balance, because we all suffer the consequences of a power imbalance. It affects us all. And so that's my little spiel on why it is important for all of us to care that we have healthy power balance and a healthy avenue for people dissenters to have that voice and to be able to push back, because through that push and pull is how we get better solutions that actually work. I think a lot of people could have taken a look at that legislation, that HB 311.5, I believe, and saw problems and foresaw that it was going to be a disaster. They pushed it through anyway because there wasn't enough power to object. So that's what it's about, you guys. If you are a person who is interested in running for office, that's what we need. We need people to register to vote and actually cast their ballot, and we need people to run for office. If you are interested in running for a school board, a college board, one of the transit boards, or there's the hospital board when it comes back up, any of these, we need people. Those boards are important. They determine how these organizations are run, and that affects our local culture, our local business, all of that. So if you're someone who's like, God, I'd love to sit on a board and participate, because your voice is important. Know that. Your voice is important. All of ours. Reach out to me, because I have resources. I have people that I can turn candidates to say, here's where you learn how to do what you need to do. These are people that guide you. There's women's only organizations that I can point women to that maybe need that type of support. There are groups who specifically, that's the only specific group I can think of. The rest of them are pretty open to anybody. They're nonpartisan. If you're a Republican and you're running for a Republican office, there's support for that. We can get support for that. You're not going to get it from the Coos County Republicans, but there's ways to get you in touch with people. If you're a Democrat, there's plenty of Democratic support organizations here in Coos County. They've already got their PAC set up and they're pretty good to go. So you can reach out to local Democrats, but get your be willing to put yourself on the ballot. It's not as scary as it seems. When I started getting into this, I struggled a lot emotionally with it because of the fear of all kinds of stuff. I can tell you from personal experience, you move past that. That subsides as you are, you learn that the people who scream the loudest to try to put you down or try to, I've had people say terrible, awful things about me. Those people are all horrible. All the people who really are nasty and really where it's harassment type stuff, they're not good people. So don't be afraid of them. Don't be afraid of what people that you don't even approve of think of you. So there's a little, if you're a person who's interested in office and you're kind of struggling with that confidence, reach out. There is resources for you. I personally coach. I'm certified life and health coaching, so I do a lot of habit change stuff. So when stuff like this, there's a lot of reframing fear and a lot of building up that inner confidence through specific habit changes. Lots of addressing those self-sabotaging type habits that we can have that limit us and hold us back. There's ways to train yourself out of that stuff. So if you're a person who has a brain and a little bit of energy and get involved. Run for these positions. We have an election in May and we have a lot of open positions coming up. I'm going to be running for one of them. So no formal announcement yet, but we're coming up. It's going to be here in a few weeks. So that's what we got to do. We've got to get in there and we've got to be that